5 Creepiest Google Earth Images. Ghosts on Google. The Stuart Hotel in Liverpool, England is said to have been the site of paranormal sightings and events for over 100 years, including unexplained rattling, rumbling, and knocks on the walls. But the Google Street View car caught something truly frightening when it passed by the haunted pub. A casual observer on Google Maps happened to notice something peeking out of an upstairs window. Now, is this some strange ghastly ghoul, or did the Stuart Hotel owners somehow know that the Google streetcar was coming by and simply fake the whole thing? You decide and let me know what you think down in the comments. Kidnapping caught on Google Maps. Now, when this next Google Maps image surfaced in 2012, many observers on the internet believed that the image showed a woman being kidnapped from her home in Sao Paulo, Brazil. In the photo, it looks like she's about to be stuffed into the open trunk of a waiting car. The kidnap theory was partially fueled by the fact that kidnappings are very common in Brazil, and in Sao Paulo in particular. However, none of the legions of internet investigators could find any information about the photo or what happened to the woman. Now, if we put on our own internet detective cap and look at a Google Maps picture from a year later, we can see that a car that looks very similar to the one in the picture is again parked on the same street. This would seem to indicate that the car belongs to a resident of one of the nearby buildings. Now, while it's possible that the woman could have been kidnapped by a neighbor, it seems unlikely. And even though the bald man in the photo seems to be treating the woman very roughly at first glance, if you take a close look, she still hasn't bothered to drop her cigarette. So, just like everyone else, I personally don't know what to think on this one. Let me know what you think is happening in this photo down in the comments. Crime caught on Google Maps. A 14-year-old boy in Holland reported to police that he had been violently knocked from his bicycle by 2 young men who then stole the bike, his cell phone, and his wallet. The police investigated the crime, but had no real leads to follow up on. That is, until 6 months later when the boy happened to be looking around Google Maps Street View and actually found pictures of himself riding his bike down a nearby street. The Google Street View car had actually taken a picture right before the crime occurred. Sure enough, the 2 young men who had stolen the boy's bike could be seen following right behind him. The boy contacted local police, who then contacted Google and received an unblurred copy of the photo. The police immediately recognized the 2 men as twin brothers who had been jailed for previous thefts in the neighborhood. The 2 were arrested for aggravated assault and robbery. Town of Dolls. In Japan, there is a small remote village named Nagoro that is populated almost entirely by dolls. The town once had a population of hundreds of people, but as each person died or moved away, local doll maker Ayano Tsukimi took on the task of replacing each missing villager with a doll in their likeness. These days, the town of Nagoro is almost deserted, except for hundreds of dolls that fill the buildings and line the streets. By using Google Maps Street View feature, you can actually take a tour through the doll-lined streets of the isolated village of Nagoro and see all of its creepy little stuffed inhabitants. UVB-76. UVB-76 is a very bizarre shortwave radio station that has been broadcasting for over 44 years. The odd station simply emits a sequence of buzzes, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For almost 25 years of UVB-76 existence, that's pretty much all the strange shortwave station did, buzz repeatedly in an odd rhythm. Then in 1997, someone suddenly spoke.
УЗБ-76. УЗБ-76. 93 882.
It was a man's voice speaking in Russian. He repeated a strange series of names and numbers that no one could decipher. Were the names and numbers a test signal? Were they code? Or something more sinister? After the brief creepy voice message, the UVB-76 station went quiet. Then it returned to its repeating series of peculiar buzzes. However, now shortwave radio enthusiasts and investigators were able to triangulate the signal's location. In later years, the UVB-76 signal was traced down to a location on Google Maps. It was coming from a small communications building in a remote area in Russia. Over the next 20 years, UVB-76 continued to broadcast its strange patterns of buzzes 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. On rare occasions, the buzzes would be interrupted by the mysterious Russian, always repeating a series of seemingly random names and numbers. To this day, over 44 years later, UVB-76 still broadcasts on shortwave radio. Although there have been many wild theories, no one has ever been able to figure out the purpose or meaning of the UVB-76 broadcast.